In this tutorial, we're going to look at how we define the walls and doors in the zebra model. Now, in this context, the doors only applies to opaque doors. If doors have glazing, then we would be defining those in the glazing tab. So this is what the walls and doors sheet looks like in the zebra model. And at a complexity level of 1, we just have to enter a list of up to 20 wall and door elements. So for each element, we'll define a name. We'll define the orientation from north, so degrees from north. The U value, which is the amount of heat we're going to lose through that wall or door. The shading to the sun, because we do have some solar gains through walls and doors, even though they're opaque. The gross area, which is the area of the element, including the area of any windows they might have in it. So in the glazing tab, you'll see we'll be able to assign glazing to any of these walls and doors. And then the area of the glazing will be deducted to get the net area, which is the area when it comes to calculating the heat losses through the wall and door. The reason for this system is to make it easier for you to adjust window areas without having to change areas in two places. So the important thing is to understand that this gross area is the area of the element you're defining, including any windows you might later define as being included inside it. So we'll just quickly go through a couple of inputs. We'll define a north facade, which will have an orientation of 0 from north. We'll give a U value of 2 and a fairly typical shading value of 0.23. And we'll use an area of 1,000. And then we'll define an east facade, which will be 90 degrees from north, and everything else we'll just use the same values. You'll see the net area and the gross area is the same at the moment, but when we go into the glazing tab and define windows inside these facades, the net area will be less than the gross area. Once we've added some inputs, you'll see these graphs will be populated, which are giving a summary of first the space heating demand and then the space cooling demand. And for each of these, we'll have a breakdown on the left, which is by element. So we have here the east facade, and in blue is the north facade. And then on the right, we have a breakdown by month. So this is starting to give us an indication of the kind of heat losses we have through these walls and doors. If we increase the complexity level, then we will see additional details in terms of what's been calculated. So this is a breakdown of the calculations that have been performed to present those graphs. And then we also have some fairly detailed parameters about the solar gains through the fabric. I'm not going to go into these in detail because it's quite a specialist. You can probably most of the time leave these at their default values. So that's a quick run through how we define walls and doors in the zebra model. In the next tutorial, we're going to be looking at how we define the ground floor.